and welcome to the Tomorrow Talks Business Edition. From gigabytes to billions of terabytes, data is growing exponentially. But without real-time access to data, most analytics software can't transform data into business-critical insights. Companies need a new way to find answers from their data. Analytics driven by new technologies is here to do just that, automating and augmenting business processes and quickly analysing data for faster time to insights and better decisions. We're going to hear from experts Phil Carter of market intelligence firm IDC and Neil Sholay, innovations leader at Oracle, on this topic and what it means across the business. We'll also take a look at some useful working demos along the way. First, the future of work.
So let's talk a bit about that future of work, though, because the value system drives that inspiration, drives the buy-in for the employees. But having to deal with flexible working arrangements, the role of new technologies, the new places to work, a different culture potentially. What do you see happening in that whole future of work space?
Yeah, well, you know, if anyone's read the World Economic Forum's Future of Work report, which they publish every year, actually around February, I believe, it's worth reading, but you can see consistently. So the top three traits or behaviours or skills desired by employees are cognitive abilities, problem solving, and emotional intelligence. Okay, these are the three things that are very, very hard for machines to replicate. And these are the higher value things. So that's kind of where the future of work is going. People want people that have those skills. The other thing I'd say is when you look at the younger demographic of people coming into the workforce, already in the workforce, but maybe on their first or second job, they won't take a job with you just for what you can offer. They'll take a job for what they can learn. Because they know that if they're constantly learning, they're constantly marketable and they can move around not only within your organisation but outside of your organisation. So again, this ability to constantly learn, unlearn and relearn.
As an HR professional, it's important to understand the factors affecting employee turnover and how you might be able to improve retention, keeping valuable people within your organisation. Let's see how Oracle Analytics Cloud can help you easily understand the factors affecting employee turnover. For example, access for staff to appropriate learning and development. In this case, simply right-click Turnover Rate and select Explain. The system instantly finds key drivers impacting turnover. You can then identify and narrow down categories in the data segments that explain turnover rate and uncover hidden insights. The ability to integrate and analyse all the data within a business to create intelligence changes how HR approaches hiring, helping secure talent with the right fit and improve the skills pipeline. Back to Phil and Neil.
I think we should probably talk a little bit about the role of how you can use data to figure out that skills pipeline as well.
Exactly. I think the notion of these new HR processes requiring a different type of data intelligence is absolutely critical at this stage because that drives that employee experience at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I think if you look at what the HR function has typically captured in terms of data, it's the stuff we all know. It's appraisals, it's performance reviews, it's holidays, expenses, that sort of stuff. I'm now starting to see HR departments capturing mobility, capturing sentiment, background, but also looking at the network, figuring out the network of how you interact with people, but not only within your line of business, but out within the whole enterprise, but outside of the enterprise.
And correlate with that with performance, right?
Exactly, yeah. Because, you know, there's a direct correlation between your people who have very strong, diverse networks and wide networks and their ability to perform. Yeah. But also looking at if you were to link, let's say, the product lifecycle management system for all of those innovation projects that are being managed in a PLM. If you were to link that with an HR system, and the data showed that of our 100 projects within the PLM system, 40% of them have a very, very strong data element, which means we're going to need 40% more data professionals or data scientists than we currently have. Then it's not left a chance. You know, you've got an early warning system there, and then the HR team can go and either retrain existing people to have those skills or go and identify talent that they need to recruit.
Now let's turn to marketing. I'm sure we have marketers watching who need to analyse cross-channel customer behaviour data for purchasing insight so that the business can understand the whole customer experience which is, of course, of high value in our changing economies. Phil and Neil give us their views.
So Neil, it's clear that innovation is a key driver for growth for the marketing function, if they get it right. But let's take a step back and talk through the current priorities for the CMO at this stage. What are you seeing based on your interactions with the market?
Yeah, well, two, I think, really rise to the surface. The first one is making better and greater use of data to improve performance, but also drive that experience in a much more intelligent way. The second is getting those customer journeys right. Figuring out what the optimal customer journeys are, and always seeking to refine and optimize them so they work well for the customers.
So we've talked about this notion of the 360-degree view of the customer for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And a unified data management strategy to support that. It doesn't seem to be going that well, right?
Yeah, this is kind of one of my personal bugbears. It's almost been like the holy grail that we've been chasing for some time. And whilst it's fair to say many marketing functions have got those data lakes in place and they've built an innovation layer on top of that, and they can do some fairly intelligent things, I think fundamentally it's flawed, because we shouldn't think of a 360-degree view, because that tends to be a snapshot in time. Let me look at the wants and needs and desires of my customers right now, and I'll take that static picture and I'll build an experience around that. I think we need to start thinking more, rather than a snapshot, a photograph, as a live stream. And this is what I mean by intelligence. So, and you mentioned it, you implement a customer experience, there's intelligence to pick up data, monitor behavior, go out to the cloud and do some modeling, and use that to constantly optimize and refine and change the experience, and a lot of that is automated. So I think of it being much more as a live stream. I think that's where we need to get to.
So, as a marketeer without the relevant coding or technical skills, how do you access and take advantage of this live stream of data? Well, Oracle Analytics Cloud actually allows you to use natural language queries to find the insight you want via a clear dashboard. Let's take a look at a short example. Maybe you need to know how population affects your marketing efforts, but your raw data contains only the specific area where your stores are located. With one click, you can tap into the power of augmented data enrichment, instantly creating a new column and pulling in the population and name of each city with no coding involved. Need to write a report analysing sales numbers by sales rep or state? Oracle Analytics transforms visualizations into easy-to-understand text using natural language generation. It's dynamic, telling the story of your analytics automatically and updating text immediately as data visualizations change, which means you don't need to spend time writing bespoke reports. So while marketing is using intelligence based on a live stream of data, finance is drilling down into financial and operational data from across the business to understand and predict revenue and profitability. Phil and Neil have some helpful insights.
So Neil, let's assume that innovation becomes a critical driver for this growth of the future business. Let's talk a little bit today about how we scale that growth, but let's start with the role of the CFO and what are his or her priorities at this stage based on what you're seeing?
Yeah, I do see the role of the CFO evolving. I think the CFO is going to have to spend much more time figuring out how they fund and support new business models, many of which will take them into markets and industries that they're perhaps not resident and operating in today. I think they're going to have to figure out how they defend against new entrants. And that might involve more M&A activity, doing even not just straight acquisitions, but potentially what we call acquire hires, where you go and acquire talent just to accelerate you in a particular marketplace. And I think there's going to be a lot around funding models, having flexibility around the funding models for innovation.
Let's see how the technology makes this possible. Oracle Analytics actually enables anyone to perform business scenario modeling, quickly create multidimensional models from any dataset, and perform what-if scenario modeling with just one click. you can quickly see unified metrics across the business with an enterprise reporting solution that's built with security and governance for any business. Connect and analyze all your data and see instant results, and uncover hidden opportunities and improve decisions which optimize business processes and keep you ahead of the competition. For financial analysts, it's all about the scale and dynamics their business faces. Making recommendations to improve the business based on accurate and timely analysis is key.
And we've actually done some research on this, and it shows that 80% of organizations indicate, so that's four-fifths of companies out there indicate that they don't think that their financial systems at present are going to be able to deal with the dynamics driven by digital in the future, in terms of new data streams, new processes, new dynamic iterations linked to those processes that need to be linked back to those core financial systems.
And I would agree. I think it's a question of, can they deal with the scale? Can they deal with the speed and the variety? But it's also, do those systems have the new models put in place? So, let me give you an example of the algorithms. So many organizations are now starting to use algorithms. If the regulator came and said, prove to me that algorithm doesn't have any explicit bias built into it, could they do that? Could the system cope with that? Perhaps not for many of the organizations out there.
So how can technology, especially AI and machine learning, help businesses meet the challenge of these new dynamics? Here's an example of Oracle's Analytics Cloud providing the real-time insights and data you need, and even learning when and where you'll need them. Imagine you need a quick updated view of product revenue en route to your meeting. In this case, it's as simple as asking questions of your data through speech on your smartphone or tablet with Oracle Analytics. Natural language interfaces based on AI analyze keywords, instantly serving up relevant custom visualizations with real-time data to keep you informed wherever you are. It even learns your location and the data you'll need when you get there. We've explored a range of perspectives today, which we hope you found useful. If you'd like to see the technology in action, do take the quick tour you can see now on screen. Thank you for watching this Tomorrow Talks Business Edition. Goodbye.